So I understand quarantine has been a new experience for all of us, and there's been some struggles, but I'm here to talk about some of my good victories and memories I've had these past few weeks. One of them being online school. I know it's very different, but since January I was asking to do it, so I'm getting my wish now. As well, that gives me time to make my own schedule to things, and I've been able to go outside more and go on runs and read, paint, and do things
I've experienced from this quarantine is getting able to spend time with my family. I feel like before all this, when everyone was working and out of school, we're never really home all together at the same time, and our schedules were always conflicting, and we never had like family dinners together. And now with all this happening, I feel like everyone's home more and we're all bored together, so we're doing fun things together and we're having family dinners all together, and it's really fun.
Hey guys, so I was asked what's one good thing that's come out of this quarantine, and for me personally it's been being able to focus more on my grades. Before this quarantine, I didn't really focus on my grades that much, but now that there's nothing else to really do, I've just been putting like all my time into my schoolwork.
Thank you guys for sharing those stories. It was just really encouraging and exciting this last week to talk to a couple students and kind of hear about some of the good, some of the positive moments you guys are experiencing in the midst of all this corona and the quarantine. However, I know that for some students, for some leaders such as myself, it's been really hard to remember those small good things. Like, I've caught myself so often being caught up in the stress, or in being dissatisfied with social restrictions, or in remembering what life once was, or wondering when all of this might end and if we'd ever go back to normal. And I've just caught myself feeling so overwhelmed by all of those thoughts and those feelings that I've lost touch with joy. I've lost touch with excitement. I haven't really had anything to celebrate in a while, and it was kind of making me sad. But recently, I was reminded about what a very good God we have. A God, like we talked about last week, a God of the unexpected, a God who shows up and blesses us even when things feel so dark. So this for Easter, this last weekend, yesterday, for Easter, Andy and I volunteered to go help run cameras for the Easter service at Cassis. And it was really exciting. I was really looking forward to it. They're a fun group to work with. And we'd only been there rehearsing for maybe a moment when all of a sudden the internet goes down. And it's very hard to stream a live service when you have no internet. And so, but Taylor is like a wizard, and Taylor got everything back up and running, and we started rehearsing again, and the energy was up, and all of a sudden the power completely went out on the campus. And without electricity, it is also hard to stream a live service for Easter. But Taylor's a wizard. Taylor gets the power running again, and we're only maybe 20 minutes out from when service is supposed to start. And then all of a sudden the power goes out again. And TEP tells us they cannot promise this isn't going to happen again. And let me tell you, this was discouraging. It was stressful. It was kind of overwhelming. It's Easter service. It's such an important Sunday, and we don't have power, and everything felt like it was going wrong. And it would have been so easy for that Sunday morning team to be discouraged, to give up, to pout. And instead, I watched as all those people rallied. Within moments, they packed everything up, they moved it to a person's home, and they set up church, Easter service, in a person's living room. And we still got a service of worship and a message of hope after all of that chaos. And I was just reminded that we are loved by a God who gave us Easter. We get to live Easter every single day. Every day we get to live as people who are so loved by God that he sent his son to die and then resurrect, that we could know what real life is, that we could know a life in relationship with God, as he shows us more and more every day who he made us to be. That every day while we live this Easter, every day we get to live with hope and kindness and honesty and joy. And while that's a blessing, it can be so hard to remember that right now. It can be so hard to remember that when everything is chaotic and uncertain, and I feel my anxieties rise. So I wanted us to talk about one way that we can stay in contact with our hope. And I want to share this verse And it's found in Philippians, and it says, always be full of joy in the Lord. I will say it again, rejoice. Let everyone see that you are considerate in all that you do. Let everyone see that you are thoughtful, that you are reflecting, that you are paying attention and remembering the Lord and like what he's done. And then it says, don't worry about anything. Instead, here's what we can do so that we are not controlled by our anxieties and our fears. It says, instead, pray about everything. Take everything to God. Remember, he's there through every moment. Tell him what you need and then thank him for all he's done. Thankfulness. Then you will experience God's peace, which exceeds anything that we can understand. It will guard our hearts and our minds as we live in Christ. Thankfulness. Noticing those little good moments and then celebrating those good moments, celebrating those little small victories is such a powerful thing. I mean, thankfulness is what reminds us we're not alone. It reminds us that this is not all there is. It reminds us of the hope of Easter and the hope that we have with Christ. So let's try this together because I need these reminders as much as anybody else. Let's try being thankful. Let's try being thankful for one thing every single day. Like today, I'm thankful for a church that would overcome such great odds to bring an honest and beautiful service to me and my family for Easter. And I'm thankful for a handsome husband who would give so much of his time to serve his church community. It's pretty cool. And with that thankfulness, we can know God's peace. We can actually rejoice even when there's small moments and there's small victories and not be controlled by chaos and anxiety. So let's encourage each other. Just this week, let's see, spending time each day to be thankful for one good thing, for one good person in our lives. And let's see what kind of difference that makes for us. So wash your hands and know that you are loved and you are missed.